the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.
What is up, Cowboys Nation? I don't know if you guys remember that. I know my man Greg does.
Dandy Don. Dandy Don married.
That was Dandy Don, former Cowboy. And at the end of every Monday night game, he would serenade, when it's over. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
That was good. I like that.
And really, Cowboys Nation, I don't know how you guys are feeling. Oh, Jimmy's feeling pretty damn good.
Happy Victory Monday to me. Happy Victory Monday to me. Hey, Mike Tag, I got to tell you something. So, we said yesterday, you and I, we really never talk, shit about each other's teams. The irony is, you get those memories on Facebook or whatever. November 4th, 2012. It was the Neil game we did at the Dome.
That was probably the last time the Falcons beat the Cowboys.
No, a couple years later at AT&T we went. Remember, you guys were up fast. You guys were laughing at me.
That was one of the best. They hadn't beat him in 7. It was 7 years or something like that. It was something crazy. It was.
That was the Polaroid you laughing at me. That was actually one of the funniest things I've ever seen. So what's up, Vince?
We had we had McFadden, but hey, appreciate everyone jumping in. Subscribe. Greg is back from a little, vacation. We call that vacation. Is that vacation or is family not vacation?
It was I don't know, semi-vacation family celebration type thing, which was quickly squalled Sunday afternoon but the Cowboys.
It was, and I would say this for everyone, season over. Look, man, you know me, I'm never going to quit. I mean, right. I'm in it for the long haul, and I said in my hype video, if this is the Titanic, I'm going to be going down with the ship as we just hit an iceberg, and I think we hit the iceberg on Sunday, and we're going to get into a lot of it. But I will say first things first, Greg, what I got to say to everyone who makes fun of me, because now's the time when everyone comes out of woodwork to make fun of the Cowboy fans. All I'm going to say is 9-0. You know what that means, Greg. 9-0. Our Canes are 9-0. Maybe it ain't so good in the NFL, but things are feeling pretty good in college football. So I will always.
Now we got to change the topic all of a sudden. I tell you what, yesterday morning, you got to give credit to Moose and Campbell. That was a funny bit they did with the beer with the pick six.
Oh yeah. No, and it thankfully, I don't think he didn't throw an interception. I kind of wish he would have. He finally used his legs, and he finally used his legs, and he got a little injured from it. Maybe that tweaked him a little bit. Maybe we all were bitching and moaning. Maybe there's a reason why he doesn't run. But looking first at some of these injuries, obviously Prescott looks like he might be going to the IR. And CeeDee Lamb's questionable. The thing I would say with CeeDee Lamb, a lot of these guys, we're hard on them. We're hard on these players and call them soft and this and that. CeeDee Lamb he was gritting it out, grinding it out. He was doing everything to stay in that game, and it showed a lot of heart on his part. So I'm going to give CeeDee Lamb credit where credit's due. Dak Prescott, it was just kind of weird because, I saw the replay, and he definitely hurt himself, but it just, I don't know. It didn't feel right at the moment. I don't know about you. I actually had that doubt in my mind. Is he really, really hurt, or is he just kind of frustrated? What was your guys' thoughts on it? We'll start with the victor, Jimmy. The victor goes to first comment. What was your kind of thoughts on the whole Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb situation, as we like?
Man, I tell you what, you guys went from bad to fiasco yesterday for you guys. Look, Dak's going to be out. He's out they're saying now for probably a couple of weeks. He's out.
They're talking about putting him on the IR.
Yeah.
Second opinion, but.
And you know what? Obviously the score is closer than it really was. You guys got late. Why was Trey Lance not in there? First of all, why didn't they put him in?
Well, he's an emergency quarterback, and Cooper Rush, I thought, get Greg's take on it too. I thought Cooper Rush played fine. Do we have some issues outside CeeDee Lamb at receiver? Kavontae Turpin, I don't want to get in a whole long thing with him, but he sends out a tweet. I don't want, you keep my name out of your mouth to the media and stuff. I said it last season when him and Sam Williams threw a victory party before the Packers game. I said, cut them both. You got to send messages to these guys that it's not going to be tolerated. That's the biggest problem, and we'll get into the culture. We can get into that kind of stuff later, but Kevontae Turpin dropping passes. It was just a disaster after disaster after disaster. It was, it was kind of a microcosm of the offseason and the season for the Cowboys in one shot. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, it was. And doing that a victory party or something like that prior to the playoffs is akin to when Jason Witten and all those guys went down to Mexico and Wade Phillips made a bad decision and later on said, I wish I hadn't done it. But, yesterday, Kevontae dropped the pass. Lamb dropped a big one in the end zone that went right in his hands, bounced his chest, and then came down, which could have changed the course of the game. Even Flournoy got in the game, and he dropped the pass right across the middle. Dak didn't look good at all from the beginning to the end. And then when he did pull the hamstring, I couldn't tell whether, prior to them showing the replay, I couldn't tell whether that was just another bad pass that he threw that he'd been throwing all game. Because it's something about Dak this year. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something about him. He hasn't played well yet.
All year. No.
Yet. And it's unorthodox because I've never seen him this bad and off key. It's almost like vertigo or something with him because he's been this way the whole season. I don't understand what it is. I don't know where it's going. And maybe Lamb has some credence in some of those early games as to what he was talking about when he was upset, because the way Dak's been throwing the ball, a lot of those should have been routine, but they weren't. So they stunk all around. They were dropping passes. Dak wasn't doing his thing. Dowdle did exactly what he needed to do. He worked his butt off as much as he possibly could. I didn't like
Dowdle played good. He played good.
He did.
I know the Falcons aren't, a top defense, top rush defense, but Jimmy, you thought the rush defense was good. So if they're as good as you think, I thought Dowdle played well.
He did. He had 75 yards right. And it was 6 yards of carry he was getting.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Big run, But I told you yesterday, I said the concern I have is, a little bit getting to the quarterback. And we had some pressure yesterday because I see somebody mentioned about the offensive line.
No, that goes to show maybe our offensive line wasn't so good. I was like, you had 6 sacks all year and you got 3 in that game. I think it's crazy.
All right, but I told you too before the game, we'll mix it up. Zach Robinson will mix it up. So what? Kyle Pitts, he was doing nothing yesterday, right? So they have Bijan at 130 total yards, I think 50 yards receiving and 75 yards rushing, something like that. So we mix it up again. I told you, Ray, he catches a touchdown. That was my big play guy yesterday, and he took care of his business. But he was wide open. There wasn't anybody within 10 yards of him.
Just like the Green Bay game we talked about last year, when all the corner, it seemed like all the DBs just came up and let the receivers go back there unannounced and just catch the ball and run it. And Atlanta didn't, and I mean this respectfully about Atlanta because they won. Atlanta didn't beat us more as it was we didn't even show up. We were garbage on every aspect of the game. Who throws a fake punt?
That was stupid.
Is covered like that, and knowing that he has the opportunity to block him all the way downfield, because that's when you legally can. It's just nothing about the game that we played, nothing about how we played yesterday even looked similar to just a basic game plan. Because if we had a basic game plan and everybody played just consistently basic, we beat Atlanta yesterday. But
I don't know about that.
No, I would say this on Atlanta, and again, it's no disrespect to Atlanta. If you were going to tell me you're going to hold Bijan to under 80 yards and Kirk Cousins is going to have under 230 yards, I would say Dallas wins. That's why the game to me is not on the defense. Our defense is decimated. I was shocked how good they played. Atlanta scored 30 points. I don't know, 4 straight games, didn't even get scored 30 against that shitty-ass defense that we put out there. So the defense played. The offense didn't do enough, and I would say very bad decisions by Coach McCarthy. And I would say either he's kind of, he's done with it, desperate, whatever you want to call it. It was just unorthodox decisions, bad decisions by him. It was just an ugly game. It was just, and like I said, Dak, he missed Tolbert I mean, how do you not see Tobin on that play? Wide open. I mean, it's just they played like crap all year, and this was just kind of summed it up. And then for them to get hurt, for Dak to get hurt, it's like, yeah, that sums up this whole season, off season, everything in between.
I said Atlanta. Go ahead.
Greg, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Atlanta. I've seen Atlanta play other teams way harder than they had to play us yesterday. Because I mean, Atlanta played other teams way harder. They didn't even have to play us yesterday the way they were playing. All they had to do was just go through that routine. Their basic routine was beating us because we were doing nothing. And even though our defense only kept them to 27 points, offense had about 5 opportunities to score. We should have been scoring 38 points because of all the opportunities we got. And we still managed to score 21 and almost get to a point to win the game with Lamb doesn't drop that ball. Despite the fact that we were playing like straight 100% unadulterated trash all around the field. And then Dak getting hurt the way he got hurt, like I said, it's bad when you watch your team's quarterback make a pass and find out on the next replay that pass was bad because his hamstring, but you couldn't distinguish that from any other pass he did the whole game prior to that because he was playing like trash anyway. He didn't command. He didn't command the field. He didn't command the plays, the passes, nothing. He didn't see Tolbert, who was standing over there eating lunch by himself. Dak was it's just something about Dak, and I said this early in the season. I can't put my finger on it. It's something about Dak this season that's not right. I don't know if
well, you know what Mickey Goldmill said. I don't know if it's true or not, but he told Rocky, you remember what he told him, Jimmy?
Which one are we going with?
Women weaken legs. I mean, you know, the worst thing that could ever happen to a man is he's become civilized. You know what I mean? I'm joking, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's coincidence, maybe not. You need to be a Clubber Lang in that gym. You get the blood sweat. I don't know if it's true or not. All you could do is make jokes about it now. Yeah. And this takes nothing away from Atlanta. I'm just saying that wasn't what we played. And I told you, Jimmy, this. Atlanta streaky. We didn't play the best Atlanta. If you're going to tell me again, you're going to hold Kyle Pitts, who's on my fantasy team, to 1 catch. I mean, Kyle Pitts, I thought he was going to have a career day. Atlanta didn't play their best. And I said, the only chance Dallas could have, Atlanta not playing their best, Dallas would have to play their best. Dallas played good enough on defense, not good enough on offense. Right. Atlanta, I mean, Jimmy, you can't say that they played their best. I've seen Atlanta, their offense go on a roll.
Yeah, we'll agree on that. Yeah. But like I said yesterday morning, Zach Robinson will mix things up. Like you said, Kyle Pitts was 110 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. Yesterday, he had 1 catch for 11 yards. So our offensive coordinator, he don't care. He'll mix it up.
It may be in defense of your coordinator and in defense of the Falcons. They weren't fearful of the Cowboys scoring a lot of points. So maybe they said, we're going to scale it back because Cousins was very conservative with a lot of his stuff. I mean, we got to him a little bit, but he just was not taking those chances. He wasn't being a gunslinger throwing around. They punted, they took a punt and field position. They didn't make any mistakes. And I think that's where you look at Dallas. Yeah. Dallas, the 4th down, which again, I can't kill McCarthy for that 4th down because I love Greg Olsen, not because he's from Miami, but he breaks everything down and just tells you what the problem is. And he showed it. The Falcon guy was in a 2-point stance. He wasn't down. If he was when they were down, they did the reverse. CD gets a bunch of yards. Now, whose responsibility is that to make the adjustment? I'm no quarterback. I'm no coordinator. I'm no nothing. I'm just saying I'm a fan. But if Greg Olsen saw it from up in the booth, I got to think someone sees it on the field.
Yeah, well, and our best player, and somebody just posted, our best player yesterday was Overshown. I was telling my brother when we were watching the game, I said, you see that guy right there, 13? I said, that's the MVP for the Cowboys on this losing game today. Because this guy, his entire attitude was like, yeah, I want to play, yeah. The Falcons' whole attitude was like, let's go. They were like this. They were dapping each other. They were on each other. They would, and we on the sideline like this. And we're in the game like, okay, what you gonna do? And it was absolutely pitiful. We had no togetherness. We looked like the Bad News Bears. absolutely bad news bears. And if we had just a base, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that Atlanta didn't win this game and they weren't worthy, but if we played a basic Cowboys game, we win that game, because Atlanta has played way better than they played us yesterday. But they didn't have to play us that good yesterday because we gave it to them. We showed them during the first quarter, man, we don't have to put our best stuff out here for these boys. They don't even want this game. Yeah. They don't want it. The offense don't want it. Let's just go out there. And then they walk on the sideline crying like little old babies and shit because they didn't get what they wanted out there. Nobody was together. We brought Florino in, and Florino missed that ball across the middle. Right, because when he came in, I said, okay, now we got another receiver. Maybe he dropped that ball across the middle. Then they hit Convante. He didn't get it. And then all of a sudden, Lamb misses that ball. And when Lamb misses, he rolls over. He's really aching. I told my brother, I said, he's in pain, but he's dramatizing that pain to a 13th level because he know the ball hit him in the hands, in the chest, in the face, and he's trying to play it off. So now let's put it on that arm.
You know, I tell you too, McCarthy, he's a lame duck coach, and it's showing, and he's losing the team. The locker room's gone. They know he's gone, lame duck, and that's a problem. Raheem Morris, everybody kind of laughed at because what he had in Tampa, he's got a great culture going in Atlanta.
Yes, he does.
And he's taking, like you said, Greg. I mean, even our kicker going out there hyping up Koo whenever he's doing what he's got to do. So,
and McCarthy took that. He took that iPad. I don't know which play it was on. He looked at it. I've never seen him like that. He slammed that iPod down like that on the ground. Right then, I knew we are done. If he does that, that means none of the coaches that he's relying on, the defensive coordinators, the special teams coordinators, none of these coaches he's relying on are doing their job. And he's so frustrated that he had to slam that tablet down like that, and the players as well. And then later on, I see a video with Dak's on the sideline. You know what he said about we can suck. He wasn't lying, but he should have said, I can suck, because he ain't played worth a damn all season.
Yeah. Now, I would say, talk about this for a minute, Jimmy, get your opinion, Greg, you guys in the chat. Obviously, you heard, it's all over the place what he said. It really, I don't know how much it bothers you guys. It really doesn't bother me. He did say we, so that shows, he's involved in that. It's a lot of these players, when you're playing, you're not expecting cameras. You should know there's cameras already. Not a good look. It's definitely not a good look.
Right.
But you could just, the frustration's building up and building. I think maybe the media is making a bigger deal out of this. Does it show a lack of leadership? Does it show anything with him saying that on the sideline? Jimmy, we'll start with you, and then Greg, get your opinion. Is it anything that you'd be alarmed with?
You know what I think? In the moment, he was frustrated. Game wasn't going the way, obviously, Dallas wanted it. And he said it was frustration in the moment. Like you said, you kind of got to watch what you say. There's cameras everywhere. So I think it was frustration in the moment. But it gets back to what I said. McCarthy is losing the locker room. Prescott got his contract, right? Yeah. And now he's going to be out a couple of weeks. CD got his contract. Your coach is gone, man. And so I think they just, that was frustration, but he's losing the locker room.
But see, when Dak does that, and Dak knows that the camera's always going to be on him, and I know he probably didn't think at that moment it was on him, but in the media's job is to hype it. The media's job is to hype it because it helps their ratings. They got to find something to hype. But when Dak does that and the rest of the team sees it, these young guys on the team, believe me, what they're saying is Dak's hurt and he's out for weeks. So in their mind, as young, immature kids, Dak can care less whether we win or lose from this point on. He's just going to heal himself. Dak got his money. He ain't got nothing to worry about. Dak said we suck on the sideline. So he's basically saying, well, I'm just going to get my money. I'm just going to play to the best I can, and that's it. And I'm going to go on to rest and recruit. And these young players, they take that as a grain of salt because they're immature. They see that. They look for somebody to grab something. Now, if Dak had said something on there like, I don't care how we doing this, we're going to turn this around. They would take that little nugget in the locker room and they would try to run with it because they see Dak is totally frustrated. They see Dak is basically giving up. Now, the veterans won't see it that way because they probably say that the last couple of games and media just didn't catch them. But what it showed me is that we are imploding. It showed me that the Cowboys are gradually imploding. And Jerry is at this point where he doesn't have a quick, easy decision like he's had in the past. He would easily say, okay, the problem is I'm just going to fire the coach. He fires the coach. Jerry, you have no backup. That's not the only person you need to fire. You need to fire the practice coaches because the practices are soft. You need to fire the special teams coaches. You need to fire the defensive coordinator. If you're going to fire McCarthy, that's 2 and 1, the coach and the offensive coordinator. So what you going to do, Jerry? What you going to do? You going to take over and coach? There's nothing he can do. And as of right now, I was riding back today listening to the sports talks and ESPN, waiting to see if Jerry, who came on the radio, we got something going on right now. And I'll tell you what, it takes 2 to tango. And it's something big. And he ain't got nothing big going on thinking that we're going to get somebody in free agency and at by 4 o'clock. Have you heard anything?
There's really not. I mean, what that's all this stuff should have been done in the offseason. I will say this. I talked about it. I dropped a video this morning and just kind of touched on a few subjects, obviously with Dak and everything. The problem the Cowboys have, and McCarthy's going to fall on the sword. I don't blame McCarthy. I really don't. I don't. Jerry put him in this position. You put him in, last year of his contract, lame duck year. You did nothing to improve this team at all. Obviously, they had the draft, but you still need veterans. You need guys that you can rely on. Blue collar, hungry football players they could have got. They didn't do anything to address the 2 areas of need: run defense and running. So you roll this team out with a lame duck coach. I mean, I don't know, what you expect you're going to get. And I think with McCarthy, I pray and hope that he goes on Gruden. I was talking to Tuck about this. Goes on Gruden when this is all over. And I'd love to hear his real feelings about the culture, about everything with these Cowboys. Because I'll say this about Jerry. He needs to hit rock bottom. When he hit rock bottom on those 3, 5, and 11 seasons, he went ahead and he did something he doesn't do, right? He went and got Parcells. No, he got Parcells.
Oh, you mean after that,
right?
After that.
He got Parcells, and he gave up a lot of that control and personnel, decision, culture, really, the culture of the team, because Parcells could drop the hammer. He was able – these coaches can't drop the hammer, but that's what it's going to take for Jerry to do it. I don't know if he's going to do it, and I don't know who's out there. Like, people are talking about – Belichick. I mean, he's done, man. I just don't think he's got. I mean, look what he did in New England after Brady left. He just destroyed that team. You don't want him handling any kind of personnel. Parcells brought it. So who do you get? Like, I love the coordinator for Detroit. I love him.
Yeah,
Well, we're talking about an owner that hired Jason Garrett before Wade Phillips. He hired the offensive coordinator before the head coach. When McCarthy got in here, he told him, Kellen Moore's your offensive coordinator. I don't give a shit what he says. He told him that. They tell him who their defensive coordinators are. They've done that in the past. That's what Jerry does. It's a culture thing, and you need someone that can drop the hammer, because the hammer should have been dropped right after the playoffs. There should have been Turpin should have been packing. Williams should have been packing. This whole thing with Zeke, and I don't know what's true and I don't know what's this, but if he's a problem, he should have been sent packing too. If it's legit, and I don't know if he's a legit problem. I don't know if it's all lip service, but you see these guys. How many times did Randy Gregory get opportunity? How many times did all these guys just continue? And it's a country club mentality. There is no hammer. There's no accountability. And until that changes, you're going to see the same thing going over and over. It's going to be just a revolving door. So.
But Mike, I equate their situation. Like you was talking about last year, so-and-so should have been packing. No, I don't think they should have been packing. Here's what happened. I equate their situation just like a military organization. When you got a military organization and you got a leader and they know who that leader is, and they respect that leader, they're going to do what they have to do, and they're going to make sure that they continue to meet the mission. When that leader gets off the beaten track, and that leader is doing unorthodox things, and that leader is trying to wear all of the hats to micromanage, you lose those troops. And when you lose those troops, that's when you get disciplinary problems. That's when you get people not standing up to standards. That's when the mission goes to hell. The reason why we got into that Green Bay game the way we did, starting back then when the house of cards fell, is all because of that one man at the very top, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones allowed a culture to permeate that permeated back when Wade Phillips was with the team, that when you make the playoffs, nobody holds all the players accountable and say, listen, in the past, when we got to this point, this was when everybody celebrated, partied, went out on vacations. We're not doing that. We are going to work and grind hard because every game in this playoff, we need to be ready. But Jerry allowed that culture to permeate time after time. When he gets to the playoffs, he forgets about how Jimmy took a team through the playoffs and didn't allow them to get off the track, didn't allow them to party and do all this. He still allows the Wade Phillips type mentality. And then the fact that he's wearing all the hats and telling people, well, nobody can make the decisions I make. Nobody want to make those bad decisions you make. And you get McCarthy, you tie his hands. You don't allow him to pick who he wants to bring in. You tie his hands, and then you still make McCarthy not as the boisterous McCarthy and the standalone autonomous leader of McCarthy that he was with Green Bay, because you're letting McCarthy know at any time it's going to be my way. It's going to be my way no matter what you want to do. You've already cut this man short. You've already cut him short in his potential. And now we get to this point and you are embarrassed, not only at the Derrick Henry major snafu, but the fact that you haven't done anything since then to even try to help and correct it. And it's burning your ego so bad because it's so permeated in the media right now, in his face every single day. And now the team is playing like trash with who we have left. We lost a lot of major starters. Could have been different. But now that they're gone, nobody has the direction of, well, who am I supposed to follow? Who's the leader here? Who's okay? I'm young, but what do I do? And McCarthy's just looking this way. He's got blinders. He's looking this way, and he's offensive coordinator, and he's hoping that all the coaching staff behind him is doing what they got to do. So when they get there, all he can do is focus on the field. It's not happening. And then Jerry still bows down to the same argument and then flips to a new lie every time. Now he won't fire. I bet you he will not fire McCarthy because there's nobody he can fire to use as a scapegoat, because the scapegoat is 100% him. So no matter who he fires, nothing's going to change because you can't bring somebody else in that's going to change it. Jerry blew this from the start. He blew this from the start. There's no way to fix it. These players are going to start making business decisions. You watch. Yeah. They're going to make business decisions not to get hurt, not to go out there and risk themselves, because some of them are going to be looking for jobs with somebody else next year. I guarantee you they don't want to be with Dallas.
Well, I didn't, business decisions is one thing I got to talk to Jimmy about, because I hate to bring this up, but there was, you brought it up about, the whale. And, the whale on Saturday, he said he had some alligator arms. You didn't want to reach.
Yeah, he had alligator arms, man. Yes, he did.
You're saying, and he called me up, and hey, if the whale calls, I'm going to answer it. But I think the whale might be on. He might have something to say. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Jimmy, I got the microphone, and now you're going to listen.
Yeah.
Jimmy invites all of us out to go celebrate his birthday.
Uh-huh.
And this is a true story. So we order $20 pasta meal and a water and an appetizer. Two of us.
Fish?
Meal probably $60, maybe $70. Meanwhile, everybody else he knows is ordering seafood medley platters,
lobster,
and
oysters,
and all this other stuff.
Finest wine.
And all of a sudden, he
finest wine,
wants
absolutely.
a whale to pay for all his friends from New York.
Oh,
and wanted to split it.
Charging over $20, you cheapskate.
His cousin even ordered a Caesar salad and charged her $80.
He charged his cousin $80 for Caesar salad.
Alligator arms.
You charged your cousin $80 for a Caesar salad.
That's terrible. Yep, $80 for a Caesar salad.
Oh my
So,
God!
the whale is the whale because he's not paying for everybody else's.
Oh, Jimmy, I can't believe
give me a
you did
break.
that. I
Yeah,
can't
you're
believe
a
it.
cheap. You're so
I
cheap.
can't
I
believe
didn't know you were
you
that
did that.
cheap, you cheapskate.
And not one time was
What
a
a cheapskate.
glass of wine offered to me.
No glass of wine. He charged him $160.
Last time I was down there, you got a free meal and free booze last time I was down there.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So let's talk. You want to talk? We'll talk.
We're talking. Let's
Yeah,
talk.
we're talking.
Was Jimmy
There's somebody
taking
else, one of your
advantage?
friends of 40 years too. You got
Jimmy took
$4,
advantage of the
$20
whale.
bowl of pasta and charged him $80.
I should have ordered more.
All right. Hey, we're gonna lead from the whale to Uncle Cheech. How's that? I appreciate it.
Uncle Chief, let's hear it.
All right, we're
See
gonna
you
get
later.
people feeling good. All right, well that was good. He I saw
That's a
the
good
back
one.
line ringing. I had to answer it, but all right, we're getting too hyped up about the Cowboys. We're gonna get into some other stuff, but more importantly, we got to get to Uncle Cheech because he's been winning some money for you guys, and hopefully that can salvage what has been a disappointing season for our Cowboys. So let's see if we can find old Uncle Cheech and see if we get this thing rolling. Is that Uncle Cheech? What has happened to Uncle Cheech?
I've been entertained listening to you guys.
Well, hey, you heard the whale calling. I know he's a close friend of yours, and you've been hanging out. Did you hear the story? Is he writing what he said about being charged?
No, I'm not going to get involved in that.
Plead the fifth.
I told you I love my Uncle Cheech.
We don't discuss family business outside the family.
All
right. So let's get into it. How was your week? What did you get in your how'd you guys do?
Terrible. Lost them all.
You did as bad as the Cowboys did.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Well, how did Carmenucci do?
Carmenucci, I didn't hear nothing from Carmenucci.
Oh, Carmenucci hit the Florida game. I believe he hit the Florida game. So he hit his. So Carmenucci, he gave his picks late. So you're going in. I see the trend, and we're going to get into it. You guys get your pen and paper because the one thing, Uncle Cheech ain't like the Cowboys. He's not going to lose 2 weeks in a row, 3 weeks in a row. He had a bad week. That means he's going to be dropping the hammer, and he's going to be winning big. In the first game you got is Bowling Green, Central Michigan plus 13. I see you're going with the that notch below schools and looking at that.
Yep, I'm doing the old Danny Sabia system this week. I'm trying that out. The Golden Boy.
The Golden Boy. There you go.
Like
so
schools nobody ever heard of and nobody cares about. You take the home team if they're a sizable dog.
Home team's a sizable dog here.
That was the system, and the bookies didn't want to take his money anymore.
Nice.
They told him, we don't want your money no more. So we'll try this system.
So you got Bowling Green, Central Michigan. That is your first one. The next one, another, smaller school, not in the Power 5, Miami of Ohio at Ball State. We remember Ball State. Miami gave them a beating, so we always enjoy that. They're going to get 12 against Miami of Ohio. Could that change for them? How do you feel about that game? Feel good? Uncle Cheech, you feel good?
About what?
About that pick. About the Ball State.
I feel good. If I didn't give you the pick, I wouldn't feel good.
All right, I'm just making sure.
Good about all of them. I've got a lot of research on this.
All right, making sure you're giving. Hey, I want to make sure the Cowboys Cave is getting quality picks. I don't want their money going to waste. I sent a picture. I did the Miami parlay. I turned $50 into $850. And I know you say don't do those parlays, but when it comes to the Canes, it was too good to be true.
I'm going to give you a tip at the end of my segment, which I normally won't do.
All right,
I won't play it myself. I gave it to the whale already.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be listening for it. Your upset special is going to be Ohio at Kent State. Home team, home dog, getting 18.5.
That's right. It's Golden Boys system. Golden.
You are
going
away
from the pro games for a little bit.
Yeah, they're unpredictable. Isn't it been such an unpredictable year for these pro games? How many people lost money on the Saints Panthers? How many how many of the dead
man
died on that, that week. So, but and then lastly, your lock of the week is Western Kentucky at New Mexico. Who the hell are these teams? But they must be good bets.
I didn't even know they had a school in New Mexico.
I didn't even know they did either. 18. You're getting 18 at home. Home dog getting 18. So these are solid picks. Now I don't know if you've seen Carmenucci's specials. He goes bigger school. His 2. He's got Bama going to LSU. LSU getting 2.5. Man, that's a little that's questionable to me. And then he has Florida 21.5 at Texas. I think Florida's been playing pretty well. It's funny how they talk about Florida now, but they forget Miami annihilated this SEC team in their own crib, and they want to give us saying we didn't beat nobody. When I seen Florida take Tennessee to the end of the line, took Georgia to the end of the line. We demolished them. Greg, help me on this. We demolished them.
That was my lock of the week last week too. Georgia, Florida. Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia, Florida. We put something on Florida that they've never seen before. They haven't recovered yet. But Florida is down to their third string quarterback. See, they're down to their third string quarterback. I don't think they got a chance.
They've been playing tough, man. They've been playing tough.
Florida game?
Huh?
How many points is Florida getting?
21.5.
21.5. I'll take my chance with the third string quarterback.
Yeah, that's a lot of, it's kind of, and it's funny, like Texas. I hear this from like Texas fans. Texas has played nobody. Give me a team. Give me a ranked team that they played. Can someone give me a rank? Please give me a ranked team they played. Miami's played a ranked team. Louisville, we beat Louisville, took care of them. They're ranked. Texas played nobody ranked. The SEC is the biggest bunch of frauds. It's a bunch of average teams.
Yep.
That's all they are. I mean, let's just be honest about it. Bunch of average teams. I mean, they get taken to the end against Vanderbilt. They get taken to the end. They finally play a decent team. They get beat up.
Taking everybody to the end this year.
Right?
But
Vanderbilt's taking everybody to the end.
Yeah. But see,
that's because they're playing stink, and those teams stink. Miami plays Texas in the playoffs. You guys go watch the Cotton Bowl back in '91. It'll be worse than that. You understand what I just said? It'll be embarrassing. Texas, and that team is falling apart. Their quarterback, they're soul searching. They're trying to figure out what they're doing. They're the biggest bunch of frauds in this league. And I said,
yep. Georgia exposed them too. Georgia exposed them. The NCAA for years has always centered on the SEC first, even when the SEC is garbage. So it doesn't surprise me that they ranked all these teams high and this and that, because they're ranking them on their own expectations of what they'd like to see these SEC teams do. These SEC teams, ever since the portal started, these SEC teams are nowhere near the deserved
last team standing this year. Cut and dry. I don't care what they're ranked. I don't care what you rank.
I don't care what he ranked.
It's going to be the last team standing. Right now, we're in a good spot, and we should win out from what I saw.
Yeah, we
should. Of our schedule.
Yeah.
SMU, they're playing good ball. That's who they project us playing against in the ACC championship game. And then if they win out, we got as much chance as anybody else.
We sure do.
Not better.
We sure do.
We got the offense. The defense has got to play tighter. The defense has got to play. That's going to be if there's trouble brewing for them. They got to get
the team get ahead. Second half, they played well. What do we have? 3 turnovers. Only gave up 10, and we smoked. So the only thing that concerned me, that quarterback really holds that ball a long time.
Yeah, he does.
Really makes me nervous.
Yeah.
But
I know he's trying to make a play, and sometimes he does, but he really holds that ball a long time.
But our chances do look good. Not saying whether we're gonna win the championship or not, but our chances do look good. Look at the SEC and look at if we went out and the only, really, to be honest with you, the only game now we should win out. We should win out. But the only game that concerns me is the game against SMU, because SMU is playing good.
Yeah.
They're playing good. And if we could beat if we went out like we're supposed to, we play SMU for the ACC championship. We win it.
Well, they got to win out too.
Yeah, they got to win out too. Or
Clemson
could creep back in. But you look at it, like Oregon is. I mean, they seem to be the top team.
Yeah.
They seem to be the one to beat. Yeah. I mean, SEC stinks. I mean, they're just a bunch of average scrubs.
Yeah.
Texas. Look at Texas, for instance. Offense is trash. That's the saving grace for Miami is if they play Texas. Texas is the worst offense in the SEC. They're garbage. Mm-hmm. So that garbage offense against our defense, that's going to be no problem. Our offense against their shitty defense, we'll drop 50 on them. I'm telling you, we'll beat them so bad. We'll have more penalty yards than they have yards. It'll be reminiscent of the Cotton Bowl. I mean, I make no joke about it. They win one national title. Now they're actually semi-relevant, and now they're going to puff out their chest, and they barely beat teams. They look like crap, and they're going to sit there and run around. That's why they're ranked below us, is because they wish they were us. They wish they had the prestige that the Canes had. They wish they had the notoriety, everything else that goes with it. There's a reason it's to you. There's a reason it's to you. There's only one you, and that's Miami. And Miami's going to handle that business. And all my Longhorns friends, I got to talk shit. My Cowboy stick. I got to find it. But anyway. All right, Uncle Cheech. What's your advice? Give me that advice.
Tonight I'm taking the Chiefs against the
Bucks.
The Bucks.
The Bucks. Yeah.
Nobody's told Chiefs are undefeated.
And the Bucks are severely hurt.
Yeah, they're hurt.
Nobody's talking about the Chiefs. They keep talking about the Lions. I told the whale, I said, you bet that Shaquille Barkley goes for over 100 yards.
Oh, easy,
against you guys. Easy money.
Yeah.
Easy money.
The Giants.
I was actually hurt watching you guys play the other day. Yesterday.
It was painful. It was painful. I told the whale because the line came out and it started 6.5 and down. I can't bet on the cow. I won't bet on it. I would bet the farm. I mean, I would give up those points. I would take it all day long because I just don't. I mean, we're going to get into the NFL, and I mean, Philly's got their own problems, but the one problem they don't have is running the football. And
you got that right. You got 200 yards 2 weeks in a row, close to it.
I wouldn't even pass the ball. I wouldn't even pass. I would run it 40 times.
And he leaped backwards over somebody's head.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Never seen that before.
Let me ask you three. Did you guys watch that game?
I went back and forth.
No, I didn't see the game.
Jimmy, did you watch the game? Or
no?
There was a play at the end of the game, and I know Carl. I know you're Eagles fan. Give me your honest assessment because it didn't make sense to me. At the end of the game, Barkley was running, and he slid. Like he didn't try and get the first down. Like
he got tackled.
No, he slid. He slid.
You're not talking about the one he got up and ran a touchdown.
No. At the end of the game, they had the ball, and it was 2nd and 10 or whatever, and he got close to the first down, and he slid. And then they didn't convert the third down, and they ended up punting the ball, which gave Jacksonville the ball, and they ran. The Jacksonville went down the field, and it was like, what the hell? Why? I don't know why Jacksonville, like the quarterback's terrible. How Trevor Lawrence doesn't get that Dak gets is beyond me.
Horse face.
Yeah.
But I mean, he didn't even need to throw the ball.
No, didn't.
That's all right. So he messed up there. All right. So that's right. So I didn't understand. I was almost like, is he scoring and he kneel? I didn't understand what he was doing, but it could have cost them the game. And it's like, plow through it, man. I mean, that's the only thing about Barkley. I just don't understand.
Barkley didn't blow that game. Sirianni almost blew that game. Going for 2 2-point conversions.
No, well,
Kicking a 50-something yard field goal when he could have kicked them 40-yard field goals. Sirianni, let me tell you something. Sirianni has made some real bad, unorthodox, crazy, egotistical plays that he got lucky yesterday. I think he blowed that game yesterday. He will be on the streets. Now, you still got, another 8 games left or something?
9. Don't remind me. We got 9 games
left.
Another
9 games. Sirianni continue. if his ego is so bruised that he has to continue doing that to tell everybody, I'm still gonna do it anyway. With Sirianni, pack your bags and put them in the corner. Because you do that again, I guarantee you the Eagles gonna fire you. They're gonna fire you.
He lost. Yeah, I know. He lost his locker room last year. They're going no. I told you they're not. They might take the division. They ain't going far.
Not with his decisions.
No,
not with
exactly.
his decisions.
Exactly.
He's gonna decision them out. And he's a narcissist, and he doesn't want to listen to anybody. He thinks everything he says, that's got to be it. And those players realize you are putting us under the boom when you go for two-point conversions. Just could have got the extra points. You don't kick the 40-yard field goals, but then you want to go on fourth down and don't get them.
He can't help himself.
57-yard field goal, knowing your kicker can't kick it. He's a nutcase.
Well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? But Uncle Cheech, we are loving the picks. I think you're battling back. I think you're what you told the whale. That's probably going to be true. It pains me to admit it, but it's definitely not good. But you enjoy your weekend.
He put his money on the Eagles already. He told me.
No, I told him to. I talked to him.
In case the spread goes up, might go up.
Well, the funny thing is if you were smart, Vegas did not catch the Dak Prescott. They didn't adjust to him being out, and the line opened up at 2.5. I knew he wasn't going to play when he, Sunday. You could have got it at 2.5. You want to talk about a steal? That would have been that would have been robbery. So, Uncle Cheech, we appreciate it. We will see you next week. Hopefully, we'll have another solid week for you. Bounce back.
Relax a little bit. There's nothing you can do now.
Yeah, sure is. Nothing.
Nothing you can do but watch.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Cheech. When you get to this point, it's like, well, ain't nothing to worry about. I mean, we're already in the gutter, so why don't you just sit back and just deal with it?
Yeah, it'll be less stress. So
right now, I'm looking at the Lions and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl anyway. So
could be. I picked Detroit last year to go, and a couple people on the show thought I was an idiot.
Who would do that?
And if it wasn't Campbell,
the Lions stink. Somebody told me last year.
Hey,
Jimmy, was that Jimmy?
No. I never talk about my Uncle Cheech like that.
Hey, Cheech. If it wasn't for Dan Campbell trying to get greedy on too many fourth downs instead of kicking those 3 field goals, they would have been.
Greg, that's high school play calling.
It was high school. So,
all right,
Uncle Cheech. We'll see you.
All right, Cheech.
Take care.
Going to watch the game now.
Grazie.
Oh, there we go. Let's see.
Uncle Cheech the best.
Uncle Cheech.
Our next three games are LL and L.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I would have given them a shot. Obviously, I don't believe in. And let's go around the NFL. The Commanders win, Eagles win. Obviously, the Falcons. We talked about them. I mean, these are kind of your 4 teams that are there. The Niners were off, right? The Niners had a bye week.
Niners were off. I think this weekend they're probably getting CMC back at least.
They should get CMC back. So
and
maybe
Jawan
they get
Jennings.
and they get hot. But of these teams, I know people love the story, and it's a great story, and they win. So I'm not a believer in the Commanders. I've watched some of their game. Their defense is atrocious. Philly is going to annihilate them. I mean, they play them after we do. Philly, I mean, you think we can't stop the run? Their run defense is worse, if you can imagine that. Their pass defense is not any good. They've just, they found ways to win against some subpar teams, and that's good for them, and it's helped them out. But who is the cream of the crop in the NFC if we're just focusing on that? Jimmy, give us your top 3 power rankings in the NFC.
Man, with Detroit, obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see. I'm looking at certain teams because, all right, Philly, they got a great record, but I don't see him. I don't know. They might take the division. I don't see him going far, so I can't put them top 3. 49ers, they're getting some players back. They might turn it around. That division.
I think 49ers are going to start heating up. That's what they've done this. They've been 3-4, 3 out of the last 4 years, and they found ways to get to the Super Bowl and get to the championship. They've always started slow. So I think they'll be in it. I think you're right, Jimmy. It's the Lions. I think Falcons. I think you got the Niners. But I mean, how much of a gap do you think there is between Detroit and the rest in the NFC?
I think they're good, but again, this is the first half of the season. Like, can they keep this? Can they keep this going all season? They're damn good. I'm not taking anything away from them. That's a tight division too. That division's tight.
Yeah. My three are totally different.
Totally different? How can it be totally different? Can't be totally different.
No, the first one, everybody's got it.
Okay, I was getting ready to get you tested.
Detroit, LA Rams, and the Green Bay Packers. Detroit,
really?
LA Rams and the Green Bay Packers. The Rams got their players back. Detroit doesn't need Detroit is Detroit. The Green Bay Packers are just one game to me from being right there to play Detroit at the end of the season for the division. The Rams are going to surprise a whole lot of people in this stretch. Don't count those Rams out. The Vikings, I don't see the Vikings.
They're fading away.
They're fading.
Yeah.
They can fade. 49ers, too many people hurt. Ayuk is gone for the season, even if Christian McCaffrey comes back, because they're trying to milk the media. Even if he comes back, he's not going to be 100%. He's got too many injuries. Kittle is hurt now. And Brock, without those guys, Brock is just another backup quarterback, to be honest with you, unless you bring some stars to replace him. I don't see the 49ers. If they make the playoffs, I don't see the 49ers getting past the first round. But those Rams, those Detroit Lions, I'm telling you, and Green Bay, those three right there.
Green Bay just got beat up by Detroit, though.
Yeah.
You still.
That's one game. That's one game.
There's weather issues in that game too.
But here's it is. Detroit is Detroit. Ain't nobody gonna beat Detroit. And that game that they lost, I'm glad they did lose that game, because that keeps them on an even keel, understanding we are not invincible. But Detroit is Detroit. So we could just put them out there. Don't even worry that Detroit's gonna be there, period. That's who everybody's got to beat. But the Rams and Green Bay, those are only the other two NFC teams, because the Philly will not beat the Rams. They will not beat Green Bay. And we damn sure won't beat Detroit. And when Philly play the Commanders, if they play in DC, the Commanders will win that game.
I don't think so.
Where's their next game at?
It's going to be where my Philly guys. You play Washington after us, I believe, because I think they play Pittsburgh, Philly, and then I think they play us in a row. And
see, here's what everybody fails to realize about Philly. Philly has Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni will undercut their success in games like Washington. That
would be the only way they lose.
In games like the Rams.
Look what happened
Green Bay.
When they played us. Blew a big lead in the fourth quarter.
And Atlanta, and possibly Atlanta. But I give Atlanta the edge if they play in Atlanta. Because Sirianni is egotistical, maniacal, and a narcissist. He is going to do what he wants to do no matter what. And the plays that he's been calling have always been at critical parts of their games where they almost lost or lost. He's not going to change. So that right there alone is the reason why the Eagles won't go all the way. Sirianni is the reason they won't go all the way. But the Rams are getting their mojo. The Rams are coming back, playing back to their Super Bowl form, and they got their players back. Do not count those Rams out as far as one of the top three in the NFC.
Hey, Carl, what was the scoreboard? Check that scoreboard. I think you're wrong about that one, bro. Nice try, though. He said, Carl, we beat y'all.
Beat who? You guys?
Yeah. I think he's wrong. I think Monday Night Football, I think we beat him.
Yeah. Who did y'all play? Who are you talking about?
No, Carl is a Philly fan. He's saying that he's claiming that they beat us. No,
y'all beat them.
Exactly. So I don't know what
that and who helped? Who helped?
Yes.
Nick Sirianni.
Sirianni helped on that one.
Nick Sirianni. Who helped against Jacksonville? Almost gave Jacksonville the
Almost
game.
gave. I mean, Jacksonville blew it. Jacksonville blew it.
I'm telling you, he's the Achilles heel of the Philadelphia Eagles. So if you Eagles fans out there, Nick Sirianni is going to put y'all in the sewer.
He's talking about Green Bay.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
they beat Green Bay. I don't even count that game. That was in another country. The field was terrible. But, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, who you beat, who you do, because it just matters, who's playing good football at the end. And right now, let's look at it as a whole. Do you see any NFC team beating Kansas City? You got to think Kansas City's going to be back. Detroit. If they do, Kansas City can win 3 in a row. No team has ever won 3 in a row. Do you think that can happen with Kansas City?
I'm going to say one thing, and I'm shocked I'm saying this at this point in the season. I didn't expect it, but the Bills are damn good, and I really underestimated Josh Allen. I'm biting my tongue, eating my words on that one. I know he's
upstanding, man. You're always when you're wrong, you say you're wrong. You
made a mistake.
Man of honor right there.
Hey, the Bills. Look, that's my brother's team. Jim was so pissed this weekend about his Bills and how they played Miami and barely won that game. Bills still don't have enough weapons yet to be on that level. Plus, Josh Allen is the man. But like Jim said, Josh Allen is a time bomb. You don't know when during the game he's going to explode and make that big, bad decision. And I don't see the Bills beating. The only team I could see beating Kansas City, and they beat them once before at the beginning of last season when the first game of the season in Kansas City is Detroit Lions. Lions, there's not, barring any other injuries, there's nobody in the NFL that's going to beat those Detroit Lions. They are on a mission. I don't care. What did Campbell say? We're built for this. Rain, snow, mud. We're built for this. Them boys. That's why when they came to Dallas, they couldn't wait for kickoff because they still had that last game last year on their mind. And that's why they had all their linemen catching passes and people sitting down there playing TikTok, then throwing the ball and catching, because he wanted to embarrass us so bad because of that referee and the fact that they got out of there and didn't get the win that they should have gotten. And
they shouldn't have got the win. I was at the game.
I think they might look.
He tried to pull a fact. You cannot have two guys going there. They did one guy eligible. They didn't announce the other guy. The reason he was wide open is because the lineman never announced himself eligible, so they're not going to cover him.
Mike,
I was at the game, man. I was right there.
Mike, I think that referee blew it. I think they did. Look, I think they did.
I was at the game. They say it over the loudspeaker.
I saw that, you son of a bitch. He did that on purpose.
I didn't tell any. This is the first time I'm saying it because I didn't tell no Lions fans nothing. But I think that referee blew that. And you notice they didn't put that they pulled that referee from calling.
Even the Detroit Lion coach said it after we tried to get one by. Well,
I didn't hear that.
Now they had a chance to make it up. And then we screwed up, and then they had a chance again. Neither team wanted to win that game. I mean, it was like 4 different plays for a 2-point conversion. But
they came back and made
he could have kicked it and went in overtime, and they had the momentum too. He's another risk taker. He's the one who cost them a couple. Now I love the culture that he brings.
He cost them a trip to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Three times. All you had to do was just get the 3 points.
Yep. So that's what you have to worry about. But what I would say with Dan Campbell is you could see, we talk about culture. And people are like, oh, it don't mean that. You see the culture that he changed in Detroit. I mean, he did. And even I was watching a pregame, and even Washington, they got the new ownership. They get a new coach. They get new feeling. Even the player they were talking goes, I didn't really understand what culture was until I got it. I saw the difference. Going from one, and then you see seeing the change that you're getting. Culture makes a lot in a team sport. It's a huge dynamic that that's why the best teams don't always win. That's why the best teams don't always win.
Because culture is a dynamic that allows everybody to buy in, and not buy in because you say so. Buy in because from the top down, there's a certain pattern of actions that when these players see it and hear it, they see it and hear it coming from everybody, and not just other players. The owners are setting an example in their everyday actions That's the culture, not just words. Culture is actions. And in the Detroit, the culture starts at the very top and it goes down all the way to their actions. And everybody has bought in. And Dan Campbell is not in his job because I want to save my job. Dan Campbell is almost like a player. He's almost like number 54 on their team. Dan Campbell has gotten that culture there from the top to the bottom, so permeated in all those people that every single player on the Detroit Lions has the same exact mentality. I don't care what they do after the game, podcasts, brands, I don't care. When they come to play, they all are focused on the same thing.
100% right. You're 100% right.
And there's nobody that's going to beat Detroit unless Detroit has major injuries. One, pray tell it don't happen to Goff. Even Kansas City won't beat Detroit in the Super Bowl this year because Detroit is on a mission. They are going to be there. And Philly damn sure ain't got a chance against Detroit.
Agree.
You never know. You never know.
Well, I mean, what Bobby said, there's still a lot of games left. We'll see. But as of now, Detroit, they're tough, man. They're scary.
No, I mean, a lot of football left. A lot of football left. Things can happen, but you don't know. You like, but Dan Campbell was always one of our favorite players, right? He's always had, he was a Bill Parcells guy.
Yes, sir.
From all the different teams Parcells was here in Dallas. He was just one of those guys. So it's good. It's good to see it. So the game tonight, you got a depleted Tampa Bay team going against Kansas City. I mean, I was listening to the local stuff. They don't even know if they're going to throw the ball much. It's going to be, they might just run the ball, 50 times. They've actually, Tampa has one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL and number 1 yards per carry, which is really surprising.
Godwin got hurt. Before Godwin got hurt.
What, the wide receiver?
He had it before he got hurt. That's the running back. Before he got hurt.
Godwin's a receiver.
Godwin's a receiver, but still.
Chris White, I mean. Isn't it White? Yeah. The running back is White. His name is White.
No, I know they got Bucky Irvin. I mean, he's been running. I mean, a lot of them have
Bucky
run
Irvin.
the ball.
Which one got hurt? Was it the receiver or the running back?
No, they have Mike Evans and Godwin both out. So they're not respecting the receivers. Okay. They're going to respect the passing game.
All that. But they've been run. I mean, the point of them is running the ball. You don't even know who the hell their running backs are. I mean, they're not big names. That's right. But they've got some young guys. They've got some young. That's what frustrates me with the Cowboys. Not to circle back to them, but that's what gets so frustrating is. Running the balls, one is a mentality, but two, man, you just need some young legs in there. So hopefully the Cowboys will get it. But it's going to be probably a blowout. I just don't think I don't think the Buccaneers have enough to even.
Rick got it. Rashad White.
Rashad White. The Bucks are going to be playing business decisions tonight. They ain't stupid.
Yeah.
Bucks, with them injuries they had last week, and they know they playing Kansas City and KC. They're going to be making business decisions. They ain't going out there trying to, we're going to find a way to win this. Hell no, I'm going to find a way to stop being injured so I can continue to play next week. This game is already behind us. This is a loss. And let's not get injured playing it.
What do you think about some of the coaching moves, right? So the Saints coach lose to the Panthers. I mean, you got to get fired if you lose to the Panthers. Yeah. And, I mean, it's crazy. That's why it's just such a crazy. The first 2 weeks, everyone had the Saints going to the Super Bowl. They beat Dallas and they've lost 7 in a row, right? Aren't they?
Beat the Panthers. Of course, we knew they beat them. We never thought they'd beat us, let alone beat us the way they did. And then next thing you know, 7 in a row. Which is the reason why I got a thorn in my ass now. You lose 7 in a row after you beat us, but then you smash us like tomato grapes, and I'm like. That we Dallas.
You just but they had one of the most unpredictable seasons, right? And then you have the Raiders fire their offensive coordinator. He fired their offensive coordinator. So it's
the Chicago Bears, Eberflus, he'll be out of there after next week.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, Eberflus, he's gone. It's just a matter of one more game. He's gone. He's gone.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of in-season changes. I think if the
Silly.
season's over, right? They gave up. I guess
Eberflus will not survive the season. Guaranteed.
An interim coach is a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, you're just basically you conceding it, right? I mean, you're not gonna.
There ain't no culture changes or nothing like that with interim coach. That's just a warm body on the sideline. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But I think McCarthy will survive the season.
Oh, I think Jerry. I mean, he's on his last year. They're just gonna unless I would say if it got, which it could, because you're gonna be on your quarterback. If they get on a real big losing streak, I think after let's say they go to Thanksgiving, they lose to the Giants on Thanksgiving. I think that would be the end. That would be the game to end it.
But you don't think that Jerry would say, I'm not gonna fire him. Let us lose the rest. Hell, I already see where we at now. Let us lose the rest of the games. That's going to help. I'll fire him at the end of the season, and then we'll get all those draft picks, those top level draft. I don't see Jerry. The reason,
but I don't think they win. Like if they fire McCarthy, if he fires McCarthy, it's just to appease. It's to give the fans something. The fans want blood, right? The fans
want his blood.
Yeah, they do. I'm on social media and I see these tweets. They want McCarthy fired. Everyone wants McCarthy gone. Now, McCarthy is part of the problem, but he ain't the problem. I mean,
McCarthy's a scapegoat.
He's going to fall on the sword. He's going to fall on the sword.
Mike, even if these fans get what they want and McCarthy's fired, they ain't going to sit there and say, "Oh, we got a chance." They're going to say, "Okay, Jerry, but we want you to go with him." We want a 2-for-1 because there's nobody you're going to bring in there to replace him. And even if you do, the state of our players and our situation, there's no way in world anybody's going to take that job and start to change us around and change the culture and all of that. No way. It'll be a waste to get rid of McCarthy, bring somebody else in. Because here's the thing. Jerry can fire Mike all he wants. But he's not going to make anybody happy because everybody's still going to be looking at Jerry, and Jerry's going to well, I did what you want. No, Jerry, you didn't. You're supposed to be going with him.
No, I got news for you. Jerry, I said it, and I'm not trying to be mean or rotten, but Jerry's in no position to make any decisions right now. He is. And I am trying to be a jerk, but that's the truth.
No, you ain't got to be a jerk. That's the truth. All Cowboys fans. Let me tell you what I tell everybody I know. I say, you know how you can know a diehard, down in the grit, real Cowboys fan? I say, ask them when you see one, first question you ask them, "Hey man, what do you think about Jerry Jones?" "I love Jerry Jones, blah, 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 blah." That's a scrub. If they say that, they ain't no Cowboy fan. They're a scrub. Real diehard Cowboys fan love the Cowboys. Whether you 1-15, I don't care what you are. But Jerry, hell no. None of us like him at all. Period. Point blank.
And it's fun.
That's how you know a real Cowboys fan.
And it's funny. It's such a sharp contrast to our owner, who he'll hit the sidelines every so often, but he stays way in the back.
Yep.
He minds his business.
That's what I said. My video this morning is I couldn't name you 5 owners in the NFL. The only ones I can name you are the Hunt. I can name you the ones that are all your the traditional. I couldn't name you 5 GMs. I mean, our GM is the owner. Our GM is on the radio 3 days a week. He holds press conferences after the game. I mean, he is out in the front, and he loves the limelight. He loves the controversy. He loves all that, and that's where I say that's the downside of the culture problem that you have is accountability. There is none. I mean, he basically undermines the coach every opportunity he gets in his. If you listen to his calls and you listen to him after the game, he undermines it. What real coach is going to want to put up with this shit?
Yeah,
I mean, not for long.
It plays out great in the media. It plays out great in the media.
And Jerry, it's so bad. It's been he always catches it every year because we all know he's the one that sabotages the team. And I told you when I first met you, I said, Jerry makes a decision every single year, one decision every single year that sabotages the team in some form or manner. And this year, in many years, has been the first time I've seen him so exposed and catching it from everybody that there's people normally he's in there when they throw the needles, but they always have the equal amount of needles like for a Romo or for Jason Garrett. This year, The majority of all the needles are pointed at him. The majority of the pressure is pointed at him. They don't even talk about Mike McCarthy in the media when they're talking to Jerry. They talk about Jerry and his decisions. They don't say, Jerry, what do you think about Mike? No, they don't. Jerry, what do you think about making decisions to do this? Jerry, what do you think about Henry? Jerry, what are you going to do? They don't talk about the coaching staff anymore. Everything is centered on Jerry because Jerry, for once in a long, long time, has allowed himself to bring the spotlight 100% on his faults. All these other people on Dallas Cowboy organization, nobody looks at them as the most damaging effect of the Cowboys or equal to Jerry like they used to. Nope, it is all Jerry now. And because of that, I can't see him firing a McCarthy or replacing this player that because it won't deflect the attention and the light on him. He's been able to do that in the past and it deflects it some. He can't deflect it now. So it'd be a waste of time firing McCarthy, knowing that he's still going to get 100% of the fault attention because it's his fault because of all this is happening. Not McCarthy. I don't care who they bring. If they asked me to come in there and coach the Cowboys.
No, I agree with you. And I would say this, I saw a comment, Jimmy, about Aikman. I think Aikman could, I don't know if he could. The one guy that I do know that would be a great GM addition to the Cowboys would be Moose Johnston. He was on it. Yeah. That is one smart football guy. You listen to him. Obviously, he ran the USFL and doing all, and just listen to him talk. I mean, I would love to see, if not with Dallas, I'd love to see Moose Johnston be a GM and run an organization kind of like what John Lynch did. I want to ask you, Jimmy, before we wrap up, because I saw a comment about Steinbrenner, and I hear that a lot, the comparison to Jerry, to George Steinbrenner. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they have wasn't Cashman the kind of the GM, and wasn't when they won all the World Series, wasn't he kind of the guy, I mean, I guess that's what I'm saying. There was a buffer with George.
Correct.
George was the hammer, but he gave guys authority. Cashman made some tough decisions too. And I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Jim?
But one thing with that is you had George Steinbrenner from the 70s and 80s. And remember, we got lean for a few years. We sucked.
Oh, in the 80s, they were terrible. I remember as a kid, the Yankees were laughing.
Late in the 90s, then he took a step back and he chilled out and was trying to avoid the media a little bit and, keep his mouth shut. Got Cashman, and there we go. And that's when we start. We won in 2009, and that's right. That was the last time. But
But see, the Yankees had a traditional organization, owner, managers, general managers, et cetera, et cetera.
Gene Michael,
31 other teams have a traditional organization. They go get GMs that are smart enough to know, hey, Mike's the owner. I'm the GM. Mike, we need to go out there and get Derrick Henry to help our running game. Mike, I'm looking at us during the season. We're looking good, but we need some enhancements. And we need some enhancements right over here, maybe a linebacker, maybe a wide receiver, whatever. And this is who I'm looking at. This is who we're looking at and my staff. I'm telling you, I don't care what he tells anybody. There's absolutely no way, just like a war. You can't fight a war with one general taking all the decisions and all of the sub decisions that's supposed to be made by the subordinates. He does them all when he can't even see the battlefield right. There's no way. And Jerry thinks because he did it with Jimmy that it's going to be eventually he's going to capture that fire again. No, that was you called that you were
lightning in a bottle.
You're not going to catch that again. But his ego is so maniacal that I don't care. And you think all these owners sitting in there with him saying, Jerry, it would be good though if you did hire a general. They don't give a damn. As long as he keeps doing this, they know they don't have to worry about the Dallas Cowboys and the players. That's why people like Chris Canty. Chris Canty played with us, and Chris Canty was a beast with the Dallas Cowboys. When he left Dallas, he talked about Dallas like they were straight garbage, but it was mainly from the top. And when you hear Chris Canty talk now, after all these years, he still harbors that anxiety and that anger for the Cowboys because of Jerry Jones and how great they could have been when Canty was there. But Jerry sabotaged the team and wouldn't allow it to get to where they need to. And that's players on our team now that are going to start making business decisions, because at the end of the year, they're going to be looking for other teams to go to. And I guarantee you they want to get out of Jerry's world.
Hey, Ultra, I'm not going to argue about the Yankees now, but Stick Michael was around in the 80s. He was the one when Mattingly got all pissed off. He almost didn't re-sign with us because Stick was screwing around with him. So Stick Michael was a GM up in the late 80s into the 90s.
Tell him, Jimmy.
Yeah,
tell him, Jimmy.
I know my business.
You got to tell Jimmy, my New York Yankee living up in there, knowing I got to tell him his business. His business.
Exactly.
But Steinbrenner, but see, one thing about Steinbrenner's attitude and character and mouth could get him by 70s and maybe 80s. But as time was evolving, he couldn't get away with that anymore. And he had no choice but to change, because otherwise the league was probably going to kick him out of there. Because Steinbrenner was crossing the line all kind of ways and getting, because all he wanted to do was win, and he didn't give a damn who he would win and put his foot on. And he started getting to the point where he really started losing it, getting angry to the point to where stuff was coming out his mouth that was really unforgivable. And that's why your boy Cashman had to step in, because otherwise they probably would have banned Steinbrenner. Because Steinbrenner, I'm telling you, man, Steinbrenner was crossing the line, especially with a lot of the minority players. That's when it was really getting to the point to where either Steinbrenner is out of here or something's going to happen and the dam's going to bust. And your boy Cashman saved it, because when he came in, he was nowhere near Steinbrenner. And he was there when y'all were winning, but you could get away with that back then because you didn't have to worry about what do you call it? People looking at it and saying, well, you really can't say that, or you really can't do that. You can't retreat people that way. And now that's illegal to do that, Steinbrenner. But as time evolved, you had somebody to come in after him when they did at the right time, because otherwise y'all would have imploded.
Yeah. Well, I like Stein. I mean, the thing I like about Steinbrenner, he hated losing. He hated losing. I wish Jerry Jones would hate losing. He don't hate losing. So I will leave it.
He ain't no Steinbrenner either.
We're getting close to kickoff, but it's been fun. We had a little trifecta here. Jimmy back to big case. He's enjoying. I had to get back up because the Falcons are beating up on the Cowboys. Jimmy rub it in our face a little bit, but congratulations. The guy, I don't hate the Falcons. I've never hated the Falcons. Just like the Braves, I've never hated the Braves either. Yeah. So
fun.
But no, hey, you still can hate losing. You could still hate losing. I don't care how much money you got. I know billionaires, they don't like to lose. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that don't like to lose. So anyway, you guys we appreciate the love. Jimmy, you have any final things to say? Anything I'm missing?
No, man. No, I think we hit everything. I'm starting to fade. It was a long weekend.
I know.
A long day of travel.
You gotta get your rest. And Greg,
I turned 50. I feel like I'm 90.
Everything good.
I'm having to get my second level motivation to take me through the rest of the season and try to just look at it one game at a time. And if we win one and lose three, well, I'm just going to salivate on that one win, because I'm at that point that I'm starting to feel like it was in the 80s.
Yeah. You just got to enjoy that. And again, as you guys are banging out of here, just hit that like, subscribe, hit the share. If you're new to the channel, definitely appreciate it. Always in the chat, let us know you're a new subscriber. We've gotten hundreds of new subscribers in the last week, and when Dallas Cowboys suck, the subscribers seem to go up. So I don't know if it's good for business or what. I don't like it. I'd rather us be winning. But if you get an opportunity, some of you guys may not know if you're new, we've got a ton of great interviews of champions. You understand? I just said champions, Cowboy champions, that you can go back and you can hear the stories and understand what it once was like. Because this Cowboy team back in its day was the premier franchise, and they were in Super Bowls all day long. We just hadn't seen it in a lifetime. So we got to relive it. It's all we can do right now until things change. But until then, I appreciate it. You guys have a great week. Kelly and I will be back on a special day, Thursday. My daughter's final cheer for her football game, senior year, got moved from Thursday to Wednesday because of some, schedule snafus and weather and all that. So I will be there on Wednesday. So we're going to have a show on Thursday. Hope to see you guys. We'll be try and take phone calls if we can again. We'll see you. Take care, Cowboys Nation. Peace out.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.